All right, we are live. So you might be wondering, what is Voldemort with a nose gonna teach me about how to keep track of progress with drumming and streaming? So I've been streaming for a couple months now and been drumming for over 20 years. And one of the things that I like to do is keep track of different stats on myself so I can make progress because I'm really focused on trying to improve in life. And so one of the things that I keep track of like every morning and afternoon or evening rather is like, how am I feeling? What's my anxiety? What's my level of depression? Like, how much movement did I get in that day, etc. And then just kind of like general reflections on what I'm doing. One of the things that I'd also do when I was drumming is I would keep track of like different BPMs of how well I was doing with stuff. So for example, on this page, you'll see on the right or the left-hand side that I have like written in different BPMs for like what my maximum was. And I'd go in and I'd erase it and then like add in the new one if it improved. But what I'm going to do is actually like step up my game a bit and actually take some of the things that I've been doing with some of my other streams and apply it into my drumming streams. And then I'm going to actually apply it also into, my streams. So I'm going to reflect on the streams at the end of them. And then I'm also going to create like a drumming progress journal. And so you're going to see me do that live today in this particular stream. So this is a little bit different than what I normally do on Saturdays around this time, where I just kind of show how I practice. Now I'm going to show you how I'm like being very intentional with trying to improve and whatnot. Okay, so I am going to pull up something right here. And the thing that I'm going to pull up is the thing that allows me to keep track of like what I was planning on doing. So what I'm going to do is at the start of each one of these, I'm going to put in like whatever the date is. So today is 3/12. And I'm going to have some kind of a header. So for example, this is going to be my way of keeping track of my syncopation. So this is going to be number 1, which is swing, cymbal, hi-hat, on 2 and 4, snare plays the line. Okay, so that's the like header that I'm going to be using. That's the specific independence exercise that I will be working on for this. And what I want to do is keep track of different data on this. So I want to keep track of what the starting BPM is. BPM. Let's actually do this. Okay. And I also want to keep track of, starting BPM. So like where I start when I'm practicing this. Like, did I start all the way at 40 or did I start at like 140? And then I want to keep track of the, quality of that rep when I'm doing this. I also want to have in here a average and a max. So I'll add that in a moment. This one's going to be the mode. So what I'm going to do is freeze, these so that I have basically 3 different columns that I'm going to be working on. So one column is going to be like basically the title, like what exactly it is that I'm working up or doing. And we'll just go ahead and give this a little light gray. So we're going to just paint that right here. Hey, what's up, Taco? How you doing today? Doing something very different with this stream. Okay, so we got our header. We've got what the starting BPM is. And let's say, for today, hypothetically, I started at like 40 BPM, and then tomorrow I was at 60. I want to be able to figure out what the average is, so I'm going to do equal average, and I'm going to say, let's see, what is it? Starting at D3, I think? How do I do that? There we go. Okay, then I'm going to say what the maximum is. So the average for this is 50 because 40 and 60. Cool, so that's working. So now I'm going to say what the max is. And I'm going to do D3 and do, 3. Okay, so my max is 60. Okay, so I'm going to be keeping track of that information. Now in the quality, what I want to do is have different data in here, and where is it? Data validation. Okay, so I want to have a list of items in here. So this is going to be like what I look at in terms of like how good was the playing. So it's going to be, it needs a lot of work, It's going to be meh. It's going to be technically proficient, and then musical will be kind of like, hey, not only were you able to get things like playing good, but we're also being very musical with it. So I'm going to have this as a drop-down list, so I can be able to pick each one of these. And I'm going to do this for every single one. And I think I can just click and drag. Yes, I can. Cool. Shortcut. Okay, so now here, I'm going to do a mode, so that way I can figure out how I am doing in general with these. So for example, if I do like a few days worth of this, maybe I can't do mode because it's not technically data. Because usually with the mode, it's like the number. So it's like saying, okay, so if I had 50, 40, 50, the mode would be 50, because we have 2 of these. But it looks like it's not allowing me to do words as the mode. Anyone in the chat happen to know how to do the most commonly occurring value, but make it so it's not just data, but it can actually be qualitative data? Data sheet? No. Animal formula, send feedback. Let's Google. Oops. Cancel. How to do mode with qualitative data. Nope. In Google Sheets. That's not how you spell sheets. Let's see. Do you have... Nope, those are numbers. Find multiple modes. Nope, not looking for that. Calculating mean, median mode. Nope. I find... Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Let's pull this over here. Troubleshooting live. Okay. Let's just paste this in and see how this works. So if we have mode count if D 4 through 4 Okay. D4 through 4. I don't know if this is going to work. This is one of the things, like, when I'm actually, like, coding, is sometimes you can go to Stack Overflow and just copy and paste, and sometimes it works great. Most of the time, it just ends up breaking what you're trying to do. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Oops. D4 through 4. Needs a lot of work. Okay, what if I have more that are technically proficient? Or more that are miss? Yes! Okay, so this actually worked. Cool. Let's delete that. Okay, so that is functioning. Woot. Let's get even nerdier. Okay, so I've got my data at the top. I've got the default header. I've got a row with a starting BPM, column with average and the max. And let's see, quality, I've got that. What are you feeling? Feeling all the feels? I've got column with the mode. Okay. One of the other things that I want to, quality of playing, I want to keep track of like how I felt while playing it. So I'm going to do the same thing with this, but I'm going to have a different set of things to kind of pull from for this. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so data validation, list of items. And the items that I'm going to go with is how did it feel when I was playing through this? So maybe I felt out of control. Maybe I felt bored while doing it, or maybe like I'm making progress, or hey, that was fun, or like when I'm doing the chop out stuff, maybe it's pushing my limits. And so this is going to be a set of options, for right here. And so I'll be able to determine not only how the quality of the playing was, but how I felt while doing this. Let's make this smaller. Okay. Cool. And I got my mode. All right, so now what I want to do is another set. So this was the quality of the BPM. Excuse me. And let's go with a little bit lighter, I think. Nope, wrong one. Right here. And we're going to do the same thing for the ending BPM. So I want to keep track of, okay, where I started with this when I was working on this. How did things feel? How did it sound? But what about when I was ending with this? How did this feel and sound? So I've got that. I've got my modes. And now I need to pull in this data as well. Cool. How I felt. Cool. Calm with the mode. All right, we got our final BPM, the average, the max, the quality, and that one. And then how I felt. Okay. So this is now going to be grouped. So that way I can just like very quickly kind of collapse the entire column and do this for all 50 of the different charts. So when I collapse them all, then you can very easily just kind of filter through them. So this one was that, but number 2 is swing, cymbal, hi-hat on 2 and 4. Short notes on snare, long notes on bass drum. Okay. So now what I'll be able to do is just like quickly collapse through these when I'm working on one, and then look at this and go, oh, first time I did this, I was at 40 BPM. And the next time when I did this, I was at 120 BPM or whatever. So it's going to allow me to very quickly kind of compare and then look at each one of the dates and see, okay, how did I do on this day? Or am I actually practicing this one consistently enough? Am I only doing it like once a month, or am I actually working on this more frequently? So that data is going to be very helpful for me. And now I'm not going to bore you by writing out every single one of these, but I just wanted to give you a little preview of, okay, this is what this is going to look like. So the next time I stream, you'll actually see this completely filled out. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this kind of information right here, and I'm going to put it into a second chart. And so this next chart is going to be called drum, or rather chops and technique. And I'm going to do this for each one of those. Make this frozen, make those frozen. We put the date in here. Forget what the date is already. Okay, so tomorrow on the 13th. And then this one that I was initially starting on, that I will finish up later on, is Lim Independence. And so that will start tomorrow as well. Okay, so what I'll do for this is like write out like grid, variation, blah, 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 blah. And that'll include every single one of the ones that I work on. And I can just go into it and just like copy and paste this entire thing and create a new one every single time I work on a new exercise, so I can see, okay, how frequently do I work on this, etc. And just kind of get a general sense of how it feels when I'm practicing this. Okay, so that I'm going to do again, and I'm going to do this specifically for tenors. So for example, if I'm working on diddle, timing, crossovers, then I'll keep track of that information. Or if I'm working on something else, like for example, if I'm here and I'm like, okay, but what about stick, control, sweeps? Now I can keep track of that information. So this is going to make my life a whole lot easier just going through this and keeping track of the data. So what you're going to see over time as I continue to do these streams is you'll actually see me improve in terms of like the BPM getting a little bit faster, or maybe just the quality of it. It feels more musical rather than just technically proficient, etc. So I'm going to do that for each one of these different streams, and I do have a tendency to do limb independence last at the end of my streams because of the setup, so I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay. So that is how I'm going to be specifically working on improving my own playing, my own drumming. I will come back to this every single time I stream myself drumming and specifically work on this. So I also want to do this with my streaming. So what I'm actually going to start doing is keeping track of like different reflections. So for example, today I was streaming, or I am streaming right now rather, and this is more of like a just chatting section. So what I want to do is be able to have in here a reflection on like how did my stream go. And at the end of my streams, I'm actually going to share this spreadsheet. I'm going to pull it up and ask the chat like, hey, what did you think? What could I do to improve? And I'll kind of write down like a general summary of what anybody says in here. And then just be able to come back to here and keep track of this particular progress to see what I'm excelling at, what I can improve, etc. Because you'll find that I am very much obsessed with just general improvement. Hence why I changed my bio to reflect that. Okay, so on here, I'm going to have the data at the top. Cool. I'm going to keep track of the length, and I want to keep track of, well, what was the average length that I was doing. So let's do average. Oh, that's not how you spell average. And we're going to do C2 all the way to 2. So for today, I'll be able to say, hey, I streamed for 30 minutes or whatever. And then I'll keep track of the average over time. Okay, so the next thing I want to keep track of is time of day. So I'm going to do the same thing before with using the mode. Whoops. To keep track of this. Whoa, that didn't work. Gotta change all these. Whoops. Nope. C, senor. C. Okay. And in here for the data, I want to just like make it simple in terms of, okay, how, like what time of day am I actually streaming this? Is it morning, afternoon, or evening? So I'm going to go to list of items and say morning, afternoon, evening. I don't plan on streaming at times outside of that. So now I can pick and say, I've got one of each, but my mode should be afternoon. It didn't work. It's broken. Why'd I break it? C4. Oh no, is right, Taco. It is broken. I think I need to get out of... I have my thing set to blue light mode, so everything looks very orange, and it's really hard to see these like variations of color. They actually like blend in with the orange. I had to have broken something here. Okay, I do have... This one's working. Probably don't need that many decimal places. Count if. Let me try copy and pasting it again and see if maybe I just accidentally deleted like a parentheses or something. Oh, duh. All right. It's C3. Ours are the wrong column, or the wrong row, rather. C3. I might as well just copy and paste this. I'm being too slow. Okay. Now it's functioning. So now if we change most of these to morning or most of these to evening, it should reflect that in mode. Delete all that. Cool. All right. Resuming. So we got time of day. Let's see what else I want in here. Yes. All right. So what I streamed. Streamed. We're gonna have the mode of that. I want to see how frequently do I stream one thing over another thing. And what do I tend to stream the most? It's probably gonna be gaming, to be honest. And that's okay. I've had so many people in life like tell both myself and then Dr. Neurolab, who I also stream with, who you can check out his channel here, like tell us like, oh, well, you're not going to go anywhere in life if you play a lot of video games. And like I average in general, like every day, 2+ hours, and yet still got a PhD, both of us. So anyone who tells you that you won't accomplish things while you're gaming, they don't know what they're talking about. They're a bunch of liars. Okay, so what I streamed. So drumming and Elden Ring and Fortnite and just chatting. So those are kind of like the main different options on here that I got. Let's do a quick test to make sure that this actually works. So our mode is Fortnite. Cool. Success. So that'll tell me what I streamed, and I'll be able to keep track of that. Now, one of the things that I also kind of like to do is summarize things like in a single word. So in this case, I want to like summarize, all right, what was the overall stream vibe? Like, how did it feel? And this is from my perspective. But like I said, I will be asking the chat, like, hey, what did you think at the end of this? I'll get to that in a moment. So for this one, I might say, okay, the overall vibe that I was going for, maybe it was a chill vibe, or in this case, maybe it was educational, or maybe I was just very focused on just practicing. I wasn't necessarily explaining how I was practicing, but instead I'm just kind of like focused on improvement. Or if we're playing like Fortnite or something, maybe we're just having fun, or maybe being goofy, triggering a lot of random sound effects, or maybe we're just hanging out. If we're doing a just chatting and whatnot. So those are going to be my options on here. We'll do a quick test to see if it works. Cool. That's working. And make sure I got the date. Oh, no. It went all the way back. There we go. Okay. So I'll keep track of my vibe, but I'm also going to do like a little verbal reflection on the quality of the stream. Oops, of the content. Let's make it shorter. So, how was my gameplay? How educational, etc. Okay, and this one is not going to have any like mode or anything. I'm not going to be selecting from it. This is where I'm actually going to just put in like a qualitative reflection on, okay, well, how did I do that particular day? And I can just clip that and make it a little bit easier. So like, for example, my drumming was really good today and I had fun teaching people what to do. Put something like that in there, okay? That's the kind of information that I want to start keeping track of. Because what I'm going to do is I'm eventually going to come back to this after I have many weeks and months of data and look at, okay, what are the different averages or modes for this? And then how does that reflect in terms of like what I felt the quality of the content was? So like, was I playing really good? And if I was playing really good, how did that impact the quality of the stream? So for example, how well did I respond to chat? Okay, I think that is very important for me to also reflect on. And then the last two sections on here that I want to have people reflect on is thoughts from chat on content and thought from chat on streaming. So This is IE myself, IE gameplay, or drumming. So like, how well did you think my gaming was today? And what could I do to improve it? Or how well do you think my streaming was today? Do you felt like I was being responsive to you? Because there might be a difference in terms of like, I might walk away from the stream and reflect, yeah, the quality of my content was great. I was really hitting all my shots in Fortnite, or the quality of the stream was great. I felt like I was really engaged with the chat. But then at the end, while reflecting with the chat, you might actually go, well, I mean, yeah, your gameplay was fine, but like from a entertainment standpoint, like I was honestly kind of bored. And like I see multiple people, in this case, just Taco, and Taco says, yeah, your stream was very educational, but honestly, I was pretty bored with it. And that's okay. I will reflect on that and put that information in here and kind of keep track of that. So that is what I plan on doing for each one of the different streams that I work on in the future. So later on today, probably in a couple of hours, I'm going to jump on Elden Ring and play through that. And when I get to the end of it, assuming I remember, because this is a new habit I'm trying to get into, I'm going to pull up this spreadsheet and just like actively work through it to try and figure out, okay, what could I do to improve this? How was it? What did it feel like, etc. So that's what I'm going to do a little bit later. And then for this one, I will be going through every single day when I'm drumming, starting tomorrow, and actually keeping track of the different information in terms of like what limb independence exercise was I working on. But I will fill this out, excuse me, before I do that drumming, so you don't see me just typing out 50 different titles and whatnot. Okay. So this was a much shorter stream than I typically do, and so it was, by the time I finished this, about 28 minutes. The time of the day, it was the morning for me. What I streamed was just chatting, and the overall stream vibe, I was trying to make it educational, just to kind of share like what I was doing and how I'm trying to improve as a drummer, as a gamer, and as a streamer. So my intent was to make this educational. The quality of the stream, so focused on sharing my process for improving through data over time. Felt like it went fairly well, despite the little bug for finding the mode. In terms of how I responded to the chat or the quality of the stream, I felt like I was chatty and hopefully informative. And yeah, I felt like I responded to the chat fairly well. I was trying to keep an eye on that. I have the chat right next to like my little outline of what I was going to do. So I was responsive to the chat and came with a plan. So that way I wasn't sitting here wasting time spending like an hour sharing my thoughts on this, but I wanted to show you like from start to finish how I was creating this rather than just going, and here's the final product and go. So that way, if you're interested in doing something similar like this, you can actually go through and take a look at it. So now I have a question. Taco, if you happen to still be in the chat, what your thoughts were on terms of like the content on this particular stream. I know this was very different, first time I've ever done this. And then any thoughts in terms of how I streamed myself in terms of being responsive to you. So if you happen to have any thoughts, feel free to share them in the chat. Informative, cool. I appreciate that. So it was informative. What about... One of the things that I think I could improve is doing a better job of like asking questions while I'm streaming. So on this, maybe I could have asked questions like, hey, what else have I missed out that I wasn't thinking of? Like, what else could I include on this spreadsheet or keep track of? Because like beforehand, I went and asked my wife, like, hey, for the drumming stuff, like what else would you keep track of? And one of the things that she recommended was like how I felt while playing it, not just the quality of the playing, because I tend to focus too much on the technical. But yeah. How do you think the streaming was itself? Was I talking too much? Or too fast? I have a tendency to just like really zoom through things, or at least attempt to. Try and not waste time. Yeah, I need all of this. My OCD's kicking in. Let's do Calibri. I want all of the same. It was good? Cool, I appreciate it. A lot of people, when they ask for feedback, they don't necessarily want the really candid feedback in terms of what's one thing that you could do to improve it. So feel free to provide that for me. I'm not gonna ruminate on it after the fact. Well, maybe positively, but like, that was a good point. How can I improve that? Why is that a weird font? Okay, so overall, it was good. Oops, that goes there. Okay, so I'm actually going to raid somebody. And so, hey, it's me. Multiple me's. Oh, wow, Inception. Me upon me, upon me, upon me, upon me, upon... We're going to break Twitch right now. I want to raid somebody. So somebody who's actually like doing some drumming stuff, because this is what I typically would have done. So we need to find somebody who is drumming, doing some cool things. So we're going to go to Browse, and we're going to go to Music, and let's see... Who is drumming right now? The Drum Daddy. Okay, Saturday jams with Daddy. Daddy's home. Best dressed drummer. Drums Daddy. 18 plus. Okay. Since I have the family friendly tag on, I probably shouldn't go with that one. Anybody else drumming? Oh, cool. Somebody's being a DJ right now. That is neat. Wow, they're on an island DJing. I really wish they had like a category for being able to sort by instrument and whatnot. Just like, hey, I want to see all DJs, like this person, or hey, I want to see all drummers. Ah, all right, 66 Samus. So this person, I actually saw them on YouTube, and they've got some really good and funny content and whatnot, and I believe I saw a video where they are actually doing this full time now. So we're going to actually raid their channel, likely playing metal, as the tag says. But yeah, so I hope you have fun with this, and if you want to check out my Elden Ring stream later on today, please feel free to do so. But yeah, let's do this. Start raiding here in a few seconds. Hope you all have a good rest of your day, and maybe I will talk to you a little bit later. And raid.